I'm Tanya from Cloud Business Services and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp, where I help accounting pros maximize their potential with confidence and efficiency. So, welcome to AI in Action. Each week, I'm breaking down real use cases, showing you what works, what to avoid, and how to make AI work for you in your practice. How AI amplifies us and not replaces us. So, today we're going to dive into just because you can doesn't mean you should. So, yeah, let's just dig in. So, what we've got here is AI videos. That's one thing that has been talked about by a lot of people. I did a podcast with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they kept saying, well, with your training courses, do AI videos, do AI videos. And I said, well, you know what? I've gone from videos to a different format of learning, which is typed and some audio. And yes, I use the AI to convert the text over into an audio, and I use the AI to help pull my thoughts together. But this person kept pushing on, why not do videos? Well, it finally hit me that this person was talking about having AI just create AI videos instead of me recording as I did before. So I wanted to share some things, my thoughts on that. And then I've also put into each of Sintra, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude just to see what their reactions are as well. So my thoughts are, again, just because we can, does that mean that we should? So when we're looking at AI, the first things that pop into my mind as why I would not do it, I might kind of do the odd little commercial or something like that, maybe. As of right now, I don't think that I will. And there's a few reasons and just some things to think about as to what's right for you. So when I'm thinking about it, the first thing is trust. So we're moving into an AI world where AI is everywhere. And what about that trust? Right now, I can't trust any video that I see out there. I can't trust that it is that person. I see videos all the time and I say, oh my God, these are so cute. I send them to my daughter and she sends it back and she's like, yep, Sora made it. So the concern is what's real and what's not. So if I move and start doing that, my branding and authenticity, which is so important, my branding is not necessarily going to be there anymore. So that's definitely something that you need to think about. How do you want that trust to be working with you and with your brand? The next thing is the environmental impact. So when I look at that, because my daughter graduated through film and television, there's copyright issues with anything out there. I know that right now there's enough that somebody could take me and make AI videos about me. But I think that AI is too perfect as well. So if somebody sees a video that is too perfect, they might be questioning, is that really me or not? So that's one thing. But again, the environmental impact on it. There's a lot. I mean, you take a look at all of these, nuclear sites and all of the stuff that is increasing to be able to just sustain the amount of energy that AI is taking. Where does that put us in the future? So our carbon footprint definitely is something that we should think about, because again, just because we can does not mean we should. Just because we can light a fire in the middle of a forest to cook hot dogs or hamburgers when it's dry and there's no fire ban on it, and we can walk away, does that mean we should? If we're building a product, just because we can, use cheaper products to build it, does that mean we should? That comes down to the quality. Just because I can throw garbage out my window, does that mean I should? I can do it. I might get a ticket for doing it because it's not legal. But just because I have the physical ability of doing it, should I do that? So there's a lot of things to take a look at. So myself, I look at, we need to have a balance. So if I am going to use AI to create certain things, pictures, it takes, it takes a little bit to create pictures as well. I'm going to take a look at how can I offset that environmental impact. So I think if you are going to be using it, again, sit down and think, how do you want to use it? What do you want to use it for? Do you want to, how does that build in with your brand and your authenticity and, the trust that you have with your clients and not, and as well then your environmental impact on that. So those are my big issues with it. So let's just take a look at, we've got Perplexity up here. So what Perplexity says is, and I took the exact same word and or wording, and I've copied this over to each of them. So this way you're going to as well see the different outputs of them, which is going to help you recognize what you can be using, when you can be using it, and so on. So we've got here, AI video can, massively lower costs and unlock creative, accessible content, but it also raises our questions about trust, identity, and environmental footprint. So exactly what I'm saying. So what we've got is, I also want to identify the cost. So when speaking with my daughter right now, you can do things cheaper with Sora, this and that, but there is going to be a point where they have to make money. So right now we're able to do it cheaper. And does that, what does that do for us? So are we going to be able to turn around and, still do it as cheap? Or are we going to have that it's going to cost so much a month to be able to do that, and credits, maybe equate to, so much megabytes used or something. So we need to look into, that's where it's absolutely going. I totally believe that. So those of us that get addicted now, are we going to still stay addicted afterwards? So personally, I will not be doing that. I have no plans. Yes, I do get it to make me up, some videos. We also need, some pictures. We also need to take a look at, some pictures that there was one of my colleagues created a picture, and it actually had the Wonder Woman outfit as worn in the new Wonder Woman. It was a cartoon version, but it was the exact same outfit. So my concern to that is, okay, is there a copyright issue again with that? You don't know. AI does not necessarily have that protection for us. So again, keep all of that in mind. Now, when we take a look here, the upside of video, according to Perplexity, lower cost and friction right now. Accessibility and inclusion. So there's absolutely a lot that we can do. It can help people who are uncomfortable on camera share ideas in video form. You know what? To do that, do the 30-day challenge where you force yourself to go on and do a live video every day for 30 days. That will help you get over that as well. And then you've got, potential environmental gains versus traditional shoots. Now, if you're going to do a traditional shoot, okay, maybe you've got, the equipment, the lighting, travel to and from locations. But if you're just doing a little video of you sitting here at the desk talking about something like this, why AI it? Why not just do it? Because now we get into the issues, trust, authenticity, and deep fakes. It can look slick, but feel emotionally flat or generic. It's reusing existing footage. There's deep fakes and identity misuse is huge, rebuilding trust, and then the environmental impact. It can be greener sometimes. If you're looking at a full-on, set, that it might take 2 days to do a 30-second video, which is something you could easily just do here. You've got that. Again, I use not a text to video, but a text to audio with that, because it takes much less to do that, and again, you've got to take a look. So the one thing here is it does not say, what is an example of let's go a 10-minute AI video, and the fact that what is the carbon footprint on it? How many times is it redone before the end user likes it, and compare the total carbon footprint to something everyday. Okay, so let's just pick this. So 10-minute video, working it down. Probably takes a couple of, pros and cons. So that's about 80 minutes of output to be able to get to that. And everyday comparisons. So a 10-minute video after 8 is like, okay, it's driving. So for a heavy cinematic one, it's driving 60 to 150 kilometers. Or comparable to several weeks of intensive smartphone use, given estimates of roughly 60 to 80 per day. And if it is an efficient 10-minute video, driving your car about, 0.1 miles. So, I mean, there's some examples of it. But again, keep this in mind. If you've got somebody who's doing this constantly, we need to absolutely keep that in mind. So there's that. If you guys want to see this, you can definitely put these in. So that's Perplexity. Perplexity is a little bit more research and fact-based. When we go to Claude, Claude feels the same things: trust and authenticity, environmental impact, accessibility, professional standards. Now, what's interesting is the research here kind of gave me some details. Claude is kind of helping me a little bit, maybe, pull together my storyline and different things. So the clients hire you, not your technical skills. When they see an AI avatar instead of your face or synthetic voice, it can feel like you're hiding or being inauthentic. I love that. The pros, it can help create training materials and internal documentation or supplement where personality matters less. It can also make video creation more accessible for those uncomfortable on camera. So that's the same thing, uncomfortable on camera, came up with the other one. And then the cons, if you're not transparent about using it, you risk serious credibility damage. And in an industry already dealing with scam concerns, fake CPAs, phishing schemes, all of that, it could help make legitimate and professional seem less trustworthy by association. The environmental impact has definitely a greater carbon footprint, equivalent to charging a smartphone hundreds of times. For bookkeepers who advise clients on sustainable business practices, there's real tension there. So, then there's the accessibility, professional standards, client relationship quality, and the one question. So just things to keep in mind. And let's just kind of pop in. Although it did give me already a comparative, which I really like that, let's just see what it comes back on this one here. Okay, we'll go back to that as it's searching. We'll pop over to ChatGPT. ChatGPT formatted things a little differently and says, yes, speed and efficiency are pros, accessibility for small teams who doesn't have a videographer, consistent branding, low pressure content creation. So those are the pros, absolutely. The cons, trust, the big one. This is, again, my first concern, and each of these has had this. Environmental concerns, it requires a ton of computing power. AI is energy hungry. Digital might be green, but AI is energy hungry. So we need to think about that. So just because it's digital does not mean it's harmless. I love this. And then the ethical gray zones, using an avatar that does not represent you, replicating someone else's likeness, making videos that look like you recorded them when you didn't, and presenting AI narration without disclosure. So lots of stuff to think here. And then let's just go ahead. And again, it's asking me, it's kind of trying to build out for me. But let's take a look at what Sintra said. Sintra, again, same wording that I popped in. Oops, right here, that I popped into it. Same thing, pro, speed and scale, cost effective, accessibility, personalization, so it can tailor content to different audience, making message more relevant, and innovation, it opens up more creative possibilities. The flip side, trust issues, number one here as well. Authenticity, transparency, and relationship erosion. So we need to really take a look at this and remember this. And I think that right now, especially what we do accounting, I've been saying this my entire career, this is all about relationships with our clients. So trust issues has been number one with all of them. The energy consumption, much bigger, more electricity, much bigger carbon footprint, and sustainability. Are we creating it just because we can, or is it truly valuable? More videos equals more storage equals more environmental impact. Copyright and ethics, so I mentioned that earlier. So interesting that this is the only one that brought up the copyright. Quality control. You know, how do you do that? Guess what? Didn't see that somebody had 11 fingers instead of, you know, just the 8 fingers and 2 thumbs type of thing. So we want to do that. So let me just pop back and see what here. So here it's saying in Claude, everyday assumption. So this send here, one production company shared they created 150 different AI video attempts to get a 30-second video they were happy with. That then was equivalent to powering an average US home for 3 to 4 months. Charging your iPhone 200,000 times. It would take a mature tree an entire year to offset just one properly executed 30-second video. Wow. Okay. That is really, really eye-opening for that. You know, everyday comparison, running your fridge for 4 years straight, a laundry routine, washer and dryer for an entire household for 2 years, or, you know, boiling your tea kettle 100,800 times. That's 276 cups of tea per day for a year. That is absolutely insane. So let's take a look here at chat. What did they say to it to do the comparison? Again, looks like chat's talking a lot. 5 seconds is equal to microwaving for an hour. Okay, again, something that we can compare to. And Sintra has broken it down here. Again, in the kilowatts, not something that we can. Okay, so here's this: charging 60,000 smartphones, or running a household fridge for a year, or driving a standard car 2,000 kilometers. So Toronto to Miami. Like, that's absolutely insane. So I want you guys to go ahead and think about that before you decide if you're going to do it just because you can. So there you have it. AI working with you, not against you. Remember, our expertise, our judgment, and client relationships, those are irreplaceable. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode, and share this with a fellow accounting pro who needs to hear it. We're all navigating this AI shift together, and the more we share what works, the stronger our profession becomes. Do you want to dive deeper? Head over to bookkeepersbootcamp.ca. We've got training, coaching, and a community of accounting pros who are mastering this together. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing the world what accounting professionals are really capable of. This is Tanya signing off. See you next week.